Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome back to Venting with Us. Ooh, do we have an update on the car? One, and we have a really good episode today. So we're going to get right into it. I hope everybody had a great week. It was almost 80 out here for 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. So I was a little happy, but there was this breeze in the air. So I don't consider it warm weather. Okay. I consider it spring. I need 80 with no winds, no breeze, none of that. So that's my type of weather. I love it. I was like, ooh, maybe I can go to the beach. I can tan a little bit. No, not even close. Not even close. But I did have a good week. So, update on the car. I did cry. So I ended up getting my new vehicle. Her name is Ruby. I'm just trying to just get used to all of the gadgets in the car. It's just like when you get a new car, you don't know everything. It's like kind of getting like a new phone or a new computer. You got to learn how to do everything. And this car has the camera in it, and my other car did not have a camera on it. So I'm definitely like up in the 20th century now. um, but I love her. I love her. This is not what I wanted to do because again, I did not want to do car payments. But basically, at this point, there was no there was no way that I was going to be able to hold on to her because I literally like the dealership from where my house is not that far. And first of all, it's once the name of the dealership is Oneswell Ford, and I absolutely love all of them. They're amazing, and they really just want to help their customers. And I've been going there for so long, but I never really met like the sales people. So, but everybody was just so wonderful, so endearing. I got to meet this cute little couple that has been going there for years. They were getting a new car. So I was like, you know what? I've been taking my car here for, mechanic issues. So why not? So, and again, like I had said to you guys, there was something about this car that it just caught my eye and that never, ever happens. And I was just kind of just like, that's the car. I'm going to take it home. That's the one. And sure enough, I don't know if I manifested that or what. But it was sad because again, like, Goldie, I've had her for like 15, 16 years. And my grandmother, that was the last car like my grandmother helped me get. Because the dealership actually effed up my whole freaking credit. They were running it and running it and running it. And then I ended up needing a cosigner, and that's something that you guys, if you have to get, like, especially for like newbies that are getting cars, definitely don't let them run your credit that much. That was the nightmare that I had over there. I was like, oh my God, please don't run it like 50 million times. But it was like, when you have that experience, it's very traumatic because the worst thing that you want to do is damage your credit. Your credit is like your lifeline. If you don't have good credit, it's hard to get stuff. And then if you try and run your credit while you have bad credit, then it's going to just worsen your credit. So it's just a nightmare. And for me, I didn't have bad credit. But what happened was I actually had good credit, but I let 8 years pass. Now, mind you, I had the car for 15. So anything after 8 years, for those that don't know, and just also because I was explaining this to my girlfriend yesterday, there's three different types of credit. There's your credit card credit, there's your home credit, which is housing and all that stuff and renting. And then when you have to get a car or something, that's a different type of line of credit. So because my grandmother had co-signed for me for that car, Goldie, I had built up good credit and I had great credit. But because it was past 8 years, it was like I was starting over. Thank God my credit card company, Capital One, knows that I bank with them, and I've been with them for years. So I think they kind of just was like, you know what? No, we'll take the chance on her because she has a credit card. She pays her credit cards on time. She pays more. Blah blah blah. I'm in my mind. This is what I'm thinking they're saying on their end. They probably did like this bitch. Oh, always like, doesn't she know that she got credit cards out there? Like, trust me, I know. But I'm happy. There was only one owner to this car, and I got the Jeep Compass. That's the car that I got. I love her. She's Ruby, my Ruby Red. And I named her Ruby only because my mom, as you guys know, loved The Wizard of Oz. And I was like, you know what? This would be so cute. It's like perfect, to name her that. So that's what I named her. She's beautiful. And it was so funny too because my neighbors are like, I saw somebody parking in your spot, and I was about to call the tow company to have that car. So I was like, no, that's my brand new car. It was so funny. Oh my god. So yeah, so she's home with me. I'm excited. I try to go, and I knew, like, again, I knew that I was at the cusp of where I needed to, because literally I couldn't even get past 60 with Goldie. It was like it was just getting too much. So now we basically have payments again, monthly payments. All right, it is what it is. Life moves on, right? So okay, we are gonna get down to this episode. It's called Betrayal, the Bible study Kidnapper. Okay. Now, let me tell you, this one literally rocked my world, because not only did he do like many, 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 many things wrong, but you couldn't make this up. And you know that I'm going to make this all comical today. So let's get down to it. So this is Betrayal. Betrayal is actually, it's a show with different stories in it. And this is story number 3. It is on Hulu and it's available now if you want to see it. It's the Bible study Kidnapper. I'm laughing because I cannot wait to get through the story so that way you guys can understand. Like, I was there literally like shaking my head as I was watching this. I was like, yo, like, you were basically Kidnapper for Dummies. You needed the book. I don't know. So this documentary falls in for falls. There we go. There was my mess up for today. I haven't done it in a while too. I'm kind of impressed. So this is a story about Danielle and Chad, and how they had the Cinderella story that turned into a nightmare on Elm Street. So Danielle was attending Black Hawk College and was invited to a Bible study class from one of her girlfriends that she was actually sharing a room with. And she ended up meeting Chad, her soon to be husband, within this Bible study. They had this whirlwind romance, and he swept her off her feet just like these guys would do. And he probably said nothing but sweet nothings in her ear, right? And they ended up getting married, and they ended up moving to Illinois. A lot of shit happens in Illinois. Can't tell you why. And they started in a Christian church, just being a part of the church, doing comical skits, doing plays, and the community loved them. They absolutely loved them. This was Erie, Illinois. And they show some of the clips of the plays that they did. And I actually have to say, I was pretty impressed. Chad, as their marriage was growing and within the community, they had their first encounter. Chad one day was very nervous. He went to Danielle and he sat her down on the couch, and he said to her, you know, I don't know how to tell you this, and I just want you to be calm about this. Now, anytime somebody says something like that, you got to kind of look at them sideways and be like, oh God, what is coming, And this one was like a dookie drop. Okay. So Chad ends up telling Danielle that he had an encounter with another man in a bathroom, a sexual encounter. And according to Danielle, he felt so terrible, so distraught that he really was just apologetic. He didn't know how to handle it. He wanted to seek counseling so that way it could bring their relationship together. And Danielle, I'm sorry, I keep saying Danielle. Her name is Danielle. Felt so empathetic. She was like, you know what? We can move past this. No, girl, that would have that was the biggest red flag right there. That would have told me like, he's having a sexual encounter with another man. I don't know if this is gonna work. Not saying that he's a bad person or anything, which we'll find out later. But just how do you repair your relationship after that? It's I don't think I could, because I always have to be somewhere then with my husband and be like, is he checking out another man? I don't understand. Like, it's not even another female, it's another man. So that's just me. And listen, to each his own. If he's happy, as long as he's happy, he's happy. But you're apparently not happy with me, right? If you swayed into a whole different sex, and into a whole different relationship. So, but it is what it is. Um, so she chose to stay with him in the marriage. They went to counseling, and let me just tell you, this is the part of the story way in the beginning of this marriage where, if this couldn't have been more clear, I don't know what to tell you after this. Like, you were pre-warned everything. So they're in a counseling session, right? And the counselor says to Danielle, look, um, I would advise you not to stay. Like, if your therapist is like telling you not to stay, there are reasons. She was like, you don't have to stay in this marriage. You're not forced to stay in this marriage. I would highly recommend you that you do not stay in this marriage. And Tanya was like, I don't think I'm gonna go with that. I think I'm just gonna keep going, staying in this marriage. And that's exactly what she did. She ended up staying in the marriage. So I'm just saying, if my therapist is saying that to me, there's that second flag right there. It's like that couldn't have been more red than red, okay? Like, and it wasn't ruby red, my car color, okay? It was like bloodshot red, okay? Like, don't make a right, don't go down to the end, because then there's gonna be a killer involved. I don't know. I don't know about this. So it was that type of situation. Um, so shortly after, because Danielle really wanted to make that relationship work and her marriage work, they ended up staying together, of course, and she ended up getting pregnant. Now, they had a total of 6 kids together. Chad was working his way to keep that marriage strong, strong, right? And Danielle, um, Danielle was a stay-at-home mom. Chad was the breadwinner of the relationship, and he was constantly working a lot of nights. He was flipping houses. He was working in the financial industry. She couldn't really explain to anybody what financially Chad did. She just knew that he would help people with their finances and guide them in a different way. But sometimes it would be like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and she would go down to the basement where his office was, and she would be like, when are you coming to bed? And he's like, I'm just here, helping out. Um, a couple of customers. I'll be up there shortly. And she's like, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Who needs help with finances at this time? Like, you might want to tell them no. Now, see, Danielle, that was the third flag right there. I'm telling you, these flags were very, 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 very bright. So she's like, this just don't make no sense. I'm married. We have 6 kids together. I'm sleeping in an empty bed. And my husband's more concerned about his clients than, making our marriage work. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, girl, because Chad was downstairs in the basement doing all types of things, probably looking at porn. He was, and then now, okay, now mind you, I'm that type of person where I'm just like, now I'm guessing like, what's going on? Why is he in the basement? Like, he's a pedophile. I don't know what's going on. Something's going on in this basement. But all I know is that he checked out like way back there, and you were still going on this rodeo. So I don't even know what to tell you. Later on, because Chad was still a part of the church, it was a Christian church, by the way. Normally, it's like either Mormon or something else on these documentaries, but it was a Christian church. There were 2 members of the church that were like amazing financially. They were bringing in lots of money. Their names were Larry and Connie, and they ran a Sunday school. And it was just making money. It was something that caught Chad's eye, and he was like, I want to know how you're doing it. He tried to convince them to help financially and get into the finance business with them. But Chad apparently did not sell Larry a dream because he was like, that seems a little shisty right there. I don't know about this. And Larry decided that he was not going to end up doing business with Chad, which then Chad got upset about this because this would have taken Chad's career off the charts. It would have put him with other people that were, financially stable and doing good in their business. Word of mouth always works. Word of mouth, right? So because this didn't end up happening, one night in the middle of the night, Chad's son wakes up in the middle of the night. He's going through the kitchen, and Chad comes home. It's really, really late, and he gets startled because he realizes that his son is up, and he's like, "Whoa, what are you doing here?" And what happened was that the son didn't recognize the call, and so that's what sparked him to get out of bed and kind of like scope it out. He was a little nosy 6-year-old, which is good. Danielle is like, she's the one that's telling the story, and she ends up finding out later on that Chad he was stunned to see his son up, but he had texted his daughter and asked her to wrap a sledgehammer with dark electrical tape all around like a Christmas gift and leave it there for her. Leave it there for him. And she did it. She sent him a picture. She was like, woo, I did exactly what you told me to, Daddy. Look, my arms are hurting now. Woo, and I'm saying to myself, what? Oh, no, 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 no. He's about to kill somebody. He's about to do something that is not good. It's no bueno. And the fact that you got your kid to like do it for you for the fingerprints, oh man, this is not good. This is definitely not good, So a few nights then pass, and Danielle's sleeping. She hears glass splatter all in the kitchen, in a kitchen area, and she hears kind of like when someone's like knocking stuff over, you just hear all of this noise. Now Danielle wears glasses, so she said that she was going across the hallway. Now, mind you, they lived in a huge ass house. I think it was like 6 bedrooms and whatnot. So she had ways to go down. She said she didn't have her glasses on, but that she saw flashing lights and the cops were like interrogating her. They wanted to know where her husband was, and if she knew Larry and Connie. And she was like, why are they asking me about Larry and Connie? And I was like, oh shit, he killed Larry and Connie. Like, what is happening now? Remember sledgehammer and all of these things. So they brought her down to the police station. They continued to interrogate her. And Danielle she was trying to figure out what was happening and ended up learning that Larry and Connie had been missing for 3 whole days. No, Larry and Connie! They were missing for 3 whole days. And apparently they were kidnapped, and the kidnapper drove them to the bank. Now, my girl Connie, Connie was thinking smart. Connie was thinking smart. I would have done the same thing. Connie, the kidnapper was like, I'm going to take you to the bank. I need you to write me out, do a cashier's check for $350,000 and bring it back. Otherwise, we're gonna hurt Larry or whatever. So Connie, my girl Connie, goes into the bank. She asks for a cashier's check, which is okay. This is the part where it gets a little like crazy, but she then takes like a little pamphlet from the church and she writes on it that she's been kidnapped, her and her husband. She needs help. Um, to to please alert the police, and she slips it over to the bank teller. Now that is my girl. See, I would have done the same thing. First of all, the kidnapper didn't go in with me, and he trusted me way too much to think that I was not going to slip a note and give somebody the winking eye, like, nah, 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 nah. Why am I taking out all this money? It's just because I need it. Something. It would have been something. Second of all, you're not a good kidnapper because in a cashier's check, you need to put the LLC name of it and who is it going to. They can easily track you. How dumb can you be? You always ask for money. It's just like 101 kidnapping, killing, all of these things. You don't ask for a cashier's check. You're gonna get caught. It's the most ridiculous thing. You were not thinking smart. So Connie leaves the bank. She gets in the car. You see the car drive away, and now the police have that footage, and they can't figure out what the vehicle was. And then they remember, boom, light bulb. We have the cashier's the name of where they needed to deposit this cashier's check, and it gets back that it's Chad. Chad. Oh Lord, Chad, you are not smart. Chad kidnapped Larry and Connie. Yes, yes. I'm telling you, he was not that smart. So now they're trying to figure out, because now keep in mind, Chad was flipping houses. And he didn't have like one or two houses, he had several houses. So they had to figure out which house was Connie and Larry in, before something more detrimental actually happens. So um, as they're checking out all of the properties, they get to one particular property and they notice a car. It ended up being the same car that was driven to the bank that Connie was dropped off at. And a cop got into the car. It started out as a whole speed chase and whatnot until Chad lost control of the car. They realized it was Chad, and they took Chad in. Now Chad is arrested, okay, and they're questioning him now in the police station. While they're speaking to Chad, the cops are still at this property, and they're going through room by room by room, and they get to this one room. There's a TV in there, And see, this is like my worst nightmare. This is on like Silence of the Lambs shit right here. Um, they get into this one room and they see a TV. On the TV screen, you can see Larry and Connie. They are handcuffed to the wall, so they can't sit because where the handcuffs were, it was like you had to keep standing. This fool, okay, Chad had actually built a whole like room that was soundproof. So even if the cops were yelling out, they're not going to be able to hear them. And now they have to figure out, okay, where are they specifically? Because now this room is soundproof. And now we don't even we know that Chad is not coming back. So they're going to eventually die. So we're going to have to find them. So they're looking around, looking around, looking around, right? And one of the cops opens the door and he notices on the floor that the floor is weird. It's not the floor doesn't match like throughout the rest of the house. So what he does is he opens up this latch. It has this metal other door on it. They open that door, and Lord and behold, downstairs it was a whole full basement. That's where Larry and Connie were. So thank God Larry and Connie lived out their worst nightmare, but they were saved. Yes, praise the Lord. Woo woo. Um, so now they're trying to figure out how to, now they're trying to piece this whole entire thing together. Like, how did we get here? How did this happen? So apparently Chad was not good with his financial business. He was basically borrowing from one person from another person, and before he knew it, he was over $400,000 in debt that he had to pay back. He also um, he forged documentations on his parents' house. That now his parents' house had been paid off, and the house is beautiful. It's like a whole like farm. So he actually forged documents and took a loan out, which they sued him for. You damn right, Chad's parents, you better go get your money. They were like, oh no, I don't care if he's my son. I don't care if he's Jesus. Nope, we're going to get our money back. They sued him and they got their money back. Or I don't know if they got their money back. They don't really say, but they sued him for their money. Um, Chad was charged for felony home invasion, kidnapping, and then to make it worse, because the cops ended up finding the receipts of all the other stuff that he had purchased. He went to Home Depot. Did I not say, guys, you cannot go to Home Depot? Like Home Depot might want to change their name because it's tied into too many like kidnapping, crime, murder, mystery stories here. Like people like to go to like switch it up. Go to Lowe's or something. I don't know what to tell you. So while Chad is in jail, okay, here is the kicker. He ends up getting a lawyer and he files for full custody for his 6 children. His wife Danielle was like, are you really like batshit crazy? Like, how are you gonna take care of these kids in jail? Like, what was your motive? It gets worse, guys. He becomes Sybil. He ends up, because he realizes that didn't work, he starts creating, Danielle ends up getting these letters sent to her house. And this woman it was made to seem out like she was a holy woman and that I'm trying to see if I have her name. I forgot her name. But that she was in the same situation as Danielle, but she ended up forgiving her husband, and thank God, because that's what Jesus would want. They always want to flip it back to the Bible and to Jesus and all of these things, right? Now, Chad created this woman who was supposed to be Southern and wrote in the letter, yeah, he became like crazy. Um, yes, you had a Southern accent, but nobody writes Southern either. Like, honey, don't worry, we're gonna. It was like it's so crazy. You have to see it for yourself. But he was trying to get her to be influenced in some way somehow, and it did not work. Danielle was very smart after that. She was like, nah, you are crazy. You're batshit crazy. And that's why you're in there for 60 years to life. So I'm not playing this game with you. The end of the story was the most amazing piece of it because after some time, Danielle ended up meeting her second husband, who was actually her first true love. And you could see how much, she is in love with this man. Her kids were talking in the interview, and they were like, my mom, I've just never seen my mom this happy. She's in such a great place. He treats her so good. So I love that throughout all of this, there was still this true love story at the end. So I hope you guys watch it. It's called Betrayal, the Bible study Kidnapper. It is, again, it's on Hulu. It is available now for you to watch. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys. I hope you have a great week.